I will take my coat off. That guy is Dr. Masari right there, who was my teacher here. We're here today to premiere a special project that we at the Citizens Voice have been working on for almost a year. I would say a whole year, but there's this guy Hugo Selensky that took up the first 2 months of of 2015. So, and I haven't written that guy's name one time since, and thankfully. So what we did over the past 9 months is I interviewed 21 World War II veterans. Now, 16 million Americans fought in World War II. Today, there's about 800,000 that are still alive. By 2036, they'll all be gone. So we thought we should do a special project to preserve these stories for all time. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about our project in a little bit, but let's first meet the stars of the show. We ready back there?
We are, buddy.
The first two guys I'm going to introduce, I met these guys on the first day of this project. We were in Frank Walsh's kitchen. I met with Frank Walsh, or Frank Steinberg and Jim Walsh. They're so inseparable. Jim's kitchen in Wilkes-Barre in March. These guys have been buddies since they met in freshman year of Kingston High School, 1939. Joined the Army same day and left the same day, and they're still buddies at age 90. The next guy I'm going to introduce, I met him over the summer. I showed up a little early at his house in Yatesville, and all I hear is this noise. No one's at the front door. I walk around the house, and we got Sal Alimo has a chainsaw, and he's chainsawing through this big log with wood. I mean, this thing was huge, right? Sal? Chopping firewood for the winter. So, Sal is the baby of our group today. The youngest member of our group today, Sal Alimo. He turns 88 in February, and he's the baby today. He's a Pennsylvania State Constable still. So, if we need any crowd control, you going to go to work for us? And not only that, there was an election yesterday, wasn't there? Well, guess who was on the ballot? With 100% of the vote, Sal Alimo won the election for another 6-year term. So when we did the story in the summer, I asked him, is he going to fulfill the whole 6 years? He thinks he's going to retire at 93 from being a state constable. So Sal Alimo, everyone. Our next veteran is Sam Bruneri of Pittston Township.
No, not Jerry.
And like Sal, here's Sam Bruneri, member of the Pittston Honor Guard. Okay. Our next veteran, my buddy, Sam Greenberg, is here with us today. Sam Greenberg is kind of a big deal. During the presidency of Ronald Reagan, Sal was the national president he was the commander of the Jewish war veterans in the United States under Ronald Reagan. Oval Office a couple times, Prime Minister of Israel. At age 85, Sal, we got so many Sams and Sals right in a row. Sam went back to school at age 85 to become a state-certified veterans counselor. And he counsels young veterans coming back from Iraq, Afghanistan, and he's proud to do it. So his resume is a lot bigger than that. We gotta get on with it. All right, here are two of my buddies. So I've shared some beers with these guys, right? So one day I was at Joe Sekulik's house in Wilkes-Barre Township. Joe's right here. We did an interview for this project. And right when I was leaving, he's like, oh, me and my buddies, we're going to the Catholic War Veterans tonight for a meeting. We do it every Thursday. Okay, Paul? So I met Joe Sekulik and his buddy, Paul Kalinowski, at the Catholic War Veterans, and they're having a couple beers, whatever. And I took a picture of me and Paul cheers in a beer, and it got like 500 likes on Facebook, the most I've ever gotten on anything. So you know what? We're like, this is a cool story because it wasn't just Joe and Paul at the Catholic War Veterans, but they had a buddy, Anthony. How do you say the name? Chikowski. So we do a story in September on the three buddies. You might have saw it, front page of the Citizen's Voice on a Sunday. A couple weeks later, their buddy passed away. Right, guys? They miss him, but they remember him too. So let's give a hand up for Joe Sekulik and Paul Chikowski. Now, I lived in Nanticoke for all 34 years of my life. And I never met this guy until a couple weeks ago. Walter Soa, 90 of Nanticoke, Park Street, Nanticoke. He told me an incredible story about being on the island where the planes that dropped the atomic bomb were, Tinian Island. And he said there's these secret group of guys that came along and said, we're going to finish the war. He didn't really know what they were talking about. Next thing you know, the war's over, right? And there's a picture of him up there by the iconic plane, the Enola Gay. And tell me what you told me about that picture.
Well, shortly after they dropped the bomb, I stood there and took a picture with the Enola Gay.
And what about your physical appearance?
What?
Your physical appearance. Tell me, you couldn't believe you that the skinny guy was you told me, right? Well, let's give it up for Walter Soa.
Yeah.
Now this next guy, Manny Martinez, I met him at the Ashley American Legion. He told me some really amazing stories of hand-to-hand combat that he engaged in. He makes no bones about it. He killed a bunch of German soldiers. He told me. What did he tell me?
What's that?
About killing the German soldiers.
Yeah.
It was either you or them, right?
Right.
You came out alive. Good. And he has some incredible stories in our video. So let's hear it up for Manny Martinez. Oh, wait. After the war, he goes, I'm going to go back in the military. And Manny served in the Korean War and the Vietnam War also. You want me to tell him how you got sent to Korea, though?
Yeah.
You want me to tell him? Or are you going to tell him?
I had an argument with the first sergeant, and I got court-martialed, so I volunteered to go to Korea, and the colonel sent me to Korea.
All right, yeah.
So discipline to go to Korea. And then Manny's son got drafted to the Vietnam War. And he volunteered to go in place of his son, and he did.